Hello everyone, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live and it's question time. A chance for you to ask your questions about game design, game development, or anything about Unreal Engine, or anything you want really at all. You can ask me whatever you like in the chat. All you got to do is put your question and I'll try and grab as many of the questions as I can within the hour that we are live here today. If I do miss your question, don't fret, just put it back into chat and I'll try and grab it again. And we do this every Wednesday, so you can always come back again next week. So, hello everyone in chat. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Hi, John D'Souza. Hello. Hello, Gaming Man. Robert Zayak. Hello, Jason. Good morning, Jason, rather. So, we've got some questions already flying in. So, we're going to tackle a couple of them. And we've got one Patreon one on our question Q jump. So, we'll take a look at that in a moment as well. So, first question I saw come through was from Gaming Man. I can see the discussion's been happening in the chat already about asking what are my thoughts on a behavior tree that could be used for many NPCs. It uses services to split the behavior tree to check for NPC types, allowing full customization per NPC type. Would made a master's behavior tree, and would it be effective if I say 100 NPC types? First of all, are there even 100 NPC types? I'd be impressed to see that list. But if you're talking like aggression and patience and like characteristics like that, it's less about changing what the kind of what services are and what they're doing with the behavior. It depends a lot on how different your NPC types are. So, for example, if I made a behavior tree like this, okay, a NPC behavior, okay, you start with a selector like we normally do, sequence, blah blah blah, doing this sort of thing, okay. When you're making a behavior tree in here, you can make it more flexible, and you don't need to be like doing massive splits and massive changes, because you can handle things differently inside the tasks themselves. So let's say, for example, this sequence here is the threatened, okay, that's their threatened sequence, okay. And what they do with this threatened sequence is going to be very different based upon what kind of characteristics they have, okay. So, for example, if you wanted to do a full sequence of being threatened and then chasing the player, or maybe they're threatened and want to run away from the player, so they have like a bravery stat or something like that, you can just use that to determine what one they should be doing. And you could do it in two ways. You could do it as a selector, and then create a decorator or to decide which way it should go, or service to decide which way it should go. But honestly, you could easily just achieve it the same way in a single task. You just make the task, so task, threatened, like this, and execute AI. and then I can read certain behavior characteristics of my character. So one thing I would probably try and do is I can fetch the characteristics of any type of character. So I would normally do something like this. I would go into a structure, F characteristics, and you would have a float for things like aggression, patience, intelligence, you know, all these various things. And so on and so forth. You just keep going down until you make all these different characteristics you may want to use. And then you can make a interface to call that. So go to blueprint, interface, characteristics, and this is going to be get characteristics. And this is going to have an output of that struct. So F characteristics. And that's it. So what I can do now is I can go to any NPC character. So let's say I create an NPC like this, and we give them the interface. So over here, interface, characteristics interface. I can go down to get characteristics. I can then output whatever this value is I want to do here. I can either make it, or I can just put it to a variable and set it onto my character here however I like. And I mean, you can do all sorts of logic here too. So you can say, like, if aggression changes based upon how much they get hurt, or if they're near their buddies, or other things like that. You can pass whatever you want through it. And when you go through the return node, that means I can go on this task on the controlled pawn, get characteristics, and I can fetch all the information I want about that character. So I get their aggression, their patience, and intelligence, and I can handle it however I want. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have a branch here, and the branch is going to be the runaway branch, and I'm not going to do the full thing, so I just do a print string here saying runaway. Okay, and the condition for that is if aggression is less than 0.4. Okay, if it's less than 0.4, we run away. We do the runaway bit. And that could be its own function, own event. It could be all inside this task. You can keep it all in here if you want. And then on the false branch, I can then handle the attacking bit. Yeah, so I can just go and add the attacking part here. Yeah. So you could do, there's loads of various things you could do. I mean, you could even take to run a specific behavior tree, you know, from the controller. If you wanted to, you could do it from here, and it'll just cancel this one and start that next one. So you could do all sorts of interesting things with this sort of concept. Yeah, this would be a good way of doing it. But I'll just, like, you could make it just one sequence and just put in the different sort of conditions of what kind of states would happen, and then you can decide in the tasks what the character should be doing. But yeah. So if when you're running good for performance, we're not having many NPCs on the tree, would it lag it down? No, because each tree is its each NPC will have its own version of the tree, so it's instanced per NPC. So do be aware of things like that. Next question. I'm just going to grab one at random. Die Hard Adventures. How do you make a mouse cursor controlled by the controller? Okay, sure. So, first of all, you need to make something that we can see it on. I'll just make like a new menu. Yeah, I'll just do a new level so I can show you a bit cleaner. Okay, so you'd have your menu controller or player controller, whatever one you're going to be using, the main controller for this level. Okay, and let's go to world settings here. Just give it I'll just give it one. Hang on. Give it game mode. Menu, game mode. And player controller, menu controller. So the main thing is on the controller, and you need to... Oh, need to assign that to here. Go to this. And on event graph and begin play, you need to first of all set the game mode to game and UI. The reason why you want game and UI is we want to affect the UI and things like that, like normal, like so I can click on buttons with our controller. But we also want to be able to control it with our gamepad and have the inputs go through our controller. So we need it to be part of the game and UI. If it was just UI, the player controller would not receive any inputs. And if it was just game, the UI wouldn't be able to be interacted with. So game and UI is where we come into play here. The player controller is itself, like that. And we're going to turn off hide cursor during capture. And we also want to tell our player controller to always show the mouse cursor. So set show mouse cursor. Okay, let's do that. Next, you then have some inputs you need to set up. Now, the easiest way of doing that is go into your project settings and just add in some access values in. You can do the alternative also in enhanced input if you want, but I'm cutting corners here. So it'd be thumbstick X, and you need both thumbstick X and thumbstick Y to be two separate things on here. So gamepad, thumbstick left thumbstick X, and thumbstick Y. If you use enhanced input, you can just use a 2D vector, a 2 vector, or 2D vector, I guess, yeah. So you can get both the X and Y values. You need to be able to get them separately. And Y you want to invert, by the way. So -1 for Y. Once you've got that, on your controller, you just get your thumbstick. X event, and we only need this one, we don't need the other one. And what you want to do in here is set cursor, set, hang on, I forget what it's called, set mouse position. There you go. Okay, and just needs an X and Y coordinate of where you need the mouse cursor to be. So what you need to do is we need to get the current cursor position. Get mouse position on viewport. No, not that one. Get cursor. No, I forget what it's called now. Mouse. It might be get mouse position scaled by DPI. Might be that one. I think it's this one. So yeah, player controller itself. And location X here, you're going to add onto this the thumbstick value. So thumbstick X, and you'll see axis value for thumbstick X. And you want to probably multiply that because this value is going to be quite small. So you want to multiply it by a scaling value. So like 35, we'll start there. In the game, you'd normally put in a setting for like sensitivity. That's what's going to go there. So 35 is a default that we're setting here, but we could make that a product setting that we can manipulate inside the settings menu inside the game. So we get that there. We add it onto our X, and that's it. And then we just round it up and put it into X. And Y plus get thumbstick Y. We'll multiply that again by 35. Plug that into here. And then round that up to Y. Okay, and that's it. And if I get my controller, And I swear I was charging this the other day, so why is it running out of battery? Oh, it's got... Hang on. I need to put batteries in it. 1 second. Oh, whoops. Okay, so if I push play now, there's my... Oh. No. Oh, hold on. I chose the wrong thing. I literally done this like 2 days ago with someone. It's not this one, is it? And mouse. Get mouse position, and maybe it's just that one. I want not DPI. There you go. Okay, so now I'm controlling it with the thumbstick. Like that. Okay. So that's how you can make it control with the thumbstick. If you want to change the icon for it too, that's simple enough to do. You just need to make a widget. So let's go ahead and just make a very simple widget. And we'll call it cursor. And we'll just put in an image in here. And I'm just going to give it one that's already in here somewhere. I'll just pick something. We'll pick this little face here. Image size 32 by 32. That'll be fine. Actually, we want it to be 64 by 64, I think. Right. So on screen, it'll look like that. Okay. To actually then use this, you go to your project settings and search for cursor. And you'll see software cursors here. You can click on plus, choose the default. So these are different types of cursor icons you would have. We use default, and then we choose the cursor widget from that. So now when I hit play, oh, we've now got our cursor. Okay. So you can go ahead and make it change it over by putting all the different types of cursor inputs you want. Yeah, simple as that. So to recap what's going on there, as if we go back to the menu controller here, we're getting the current position, and we're adding on what we call the delta, the change that's happening. So as I move the thumbstick, that value is going between -1 and 1, and then multiply it by that strength. That strength is how sensitive it is. So if we want it to be less sensitive, make the number smaller; more sensitive, make it higher. Okay. And then I'm just adding it onto the current location of the mouse, and then rounding it up to get the position. You don't have to round it; you can truncate it if you want, whatever you like. And then the same again for Y, and it's as simple as that. As I said, you have to just make sure that you're in input mode as gaming UI, so you can do this on the menu controller. You could probably do it all in UI actually, if by using enhanced input actions instead, because widgets can read enhanced input actions, so you could do that. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. Next question. Okay, that's an interesting one. CMI of A. I'm trying to make it. They're trying to use spawn. No. I'm getting confused. Who was it say? Sorry, John D'Souza. I'm trying to make my character jump to a mouse position on the screen like a leap while only holding control. Okay. So let me go back to the level. First things first, we need to be able to see the cursor on the screen. So I need to make myself have a controller in here. And on the controller, we're going to do set show mouse cursor. And we want to enable click events. Like that. Okay. Next, we want to Actually, no, we'll go back in here, sorry. Then we want to go and add the input for this one. So left mouse button, like this. To make your character jump to a particular location, what you can do is, first of all, we have to get the location underneath the cursor. So go hit result under cursor followed by channel. And if that hits something, which it should do, we'll break open that hit result. And we've got the location now. Now, what I need to do is need to calculate the trajectory I need to jump. Okay, so this one, we're going to do, what's it called? Predict velocity? No. Hold on. Projectile vector. No, projectile. Suggest. There you go. Suggest projectile velocity. Like that. Okay. Put that in there. Now, even though it says projectile, it just means anything really. So start location would be our pawn's current location. So get player character. And we'll do actor location. And put it into our start. Our end is where we clicked. So just drag out location. Put it there. Launch speed. So how fast are they going to be launching at? Let's do 800. Okay. Override gravity Z. We're going to leave it at 0 so it doesn't override. Collision radius, not fussed about that. Favor high arc, we'll tick that. Okay. And yeah. Okay, and that's going to give us a velocity. I then want to take my character. And I'm going to say launch character. And I'm now going to launch them towards that velocity. I'm going to override X, Y, and Z. So we get more accurate landing. And that's kind of it. So let me just use my controller here. I'm just going to change my game modes player controller here to my controller. Okay, there's my cursor. And if I click... Oh. Yeah. If I click up here. No. Not great, is it? Should be doing more than that. What's going on there? So if there's a thing where it may not reach its velocity, so you need to probably change the speed of it. So I'm going to increase that speed. There you go. If I click there. And that's it using the favouring of the high arc. If I go back and turn that off, it'll be more lateral. Yeah. But you probably want a high arc. So if it does look weird, it's probably... And you can always check it with the Boolean here, because the Boolean is going to return true or false whether or not it was successful and able to get from start to end point. If it can't get to the end point, it'll just output false, but it will still give them a velocity of how it should toss them. So you just need to use this basically out in the line with launch character to be able to do what you want to do. So hopefully it helps you, and obviously you can tie it down with the control button instead of the left mouse button, whatever you like. Okay, so yeah, feel free to play about with that. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we did have one question on our Discord channel for Question Time Q Jump. This is a channel where Patreon members can ask their questions ahead of the stream in case they can't make the stream and can watch it back later. So our question on the Q Jump is from TrizV96. And he says, hey Ryan, any advice on doing multiple minigames inside of games? Like a lockpicking minigame and something like a QTE or something. Okay, so it depends on like the extent that these things are in your game. If your minigame is cutting from a level and going into another level, then just use the game mode, custom controllers, things like that to create your own little minigame within a single level.
However, if you're doing something like a lock-picking minigame where you are breaking out into a different thing in the current level, then you're just changing over the inputs to a device, and that device will then handle how you're doing the minigames. I have done a lock-picking minigame video, so do check out, I think it's like 3 videos. Do check out that little series there to find out how I accomplished that. And it basically works the same way. You have an actor which you enable inputs on, and then they handle the logic of the minigame. QTEs are a little bit different because they're tied to animation sequences. We'll probably have to do a more extended look at QTEs and how to achieve QTEs at a later date. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it as a video series, I'm sure. Diego Hodge. Is it more efficient to change the tick speed, add a delay on the tick, or create a delay loop that isn't on the tick at all? And is there any reason to avoid either of the delay methods described? Yeah, so if you're doing like a repeating loop or something, I'll just use a timer rather than a tick or a delay tick. Tick it is useful for some things, but the tick is tied to the frame rate. So if the game is running faster, the tick will be faster. If it's running slower, it will be slower. Whereas a timer is actually based on time. So use a timer instead. Ron Zertnert. Hey Ryan, will you ever do work with procedural generation such as dungeon generation? Never say never. At some point, yeah. So we've got over 1,000 videos on the channel now, so I don't think anything's off the table. Yeah. Mohammed Gabber, sorry. To work in the game industry, do I need to specialize in a single field like animation, AI, level design, or companies hire people to work on everything? And what is your advice for us? I would advise to specialize, but still be aware of how the other disciplines work and what they do. If you're working for a small company, you may be asked to do many different jobs because there's not many people on the team, like indie company, for example. If you're working for a big company, your job have more specialized, but you still want to be respectful and understanding what other people are up to, so you know what to ask them and not look like an idiot. So, you do need knowledge of the other disciplines to be better off, but yeah, try to specialize if you can. Was curious due to the mention of Diablo streams. Yeah, so we're doing a Diablo stream later in the month on our Let's Create. We won't be doing generation on that stream. The how to create on that one will be looking at the Frost Nova effect that is used by sorcerers. I saw this effect, I really like it, and I thought that'd be a really fun one to try and recreate as a Niagara effect. So it's gonna be a Niagara heavy stream as we try and do something a little bit different. And yeah, we're going to try and replicate what happens with that effect there. So how do you make enemies freeze in place and then have like look like ice coming off them in the direction of where you hit them? Should be an interesting one. Cena, can you record in-depth tutorial series on AnimBP since it can get confusing for any animation that is not basic? Yeah, I would like to go back and do more stuff on the animation blueprint. I myself have been using it a lot more lately and doing more interesting things with it, seeing where I can push it and what I can do with it. So for sure, we'll be doing a series on AnimBP and helping people through it, much like how we've been doing with the AI stuff, where it's like it's not a series that you followed like to completion to get a single result out of it. It's more like here's how everything works type of thing, with some examples. That's what we'll be doing probably with that. Anything on a farming game or how to do it? I'd love to make a farming game. It may be a video series at some point because I would love to try and make one. Because I haven't done one before. But how to do it? Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of game you were trying to do. you need things on a lot of objects and timers and things like that. Different stats for various, like for example, I mean, I do a really sped up version of it, so there'll be like a plant parent actor, and then we'll make a child of that and call that cabbage. Okay, and all plants can have a moisture setting on them. Growth. Yeah, so like how a growth rate maybe. I don't know. And on the event graph, we can just say on begin play, we want to grow every so often. So, and you have like I'll probably have like an array of meshes that you swap between to show different meshes for different growth rates. I mean, yeah, we could go into detail, a bit too much detail, and spend the whole stream doing it. But yeah, it might be a cool one to try and do at some point. It shouldn't be too difficult. It's just a lot of things going on that you can click on and handle things. In order to be able to click on actors, do make sure you go into controller and enable the click events. That's very important. You need to make sure you got that. And if you want to be able to right click on things, make sure in the click event keys you also add in the right mouse button too. Okay. Why do we have the F version of U components classes like U property and F property? So an F property indicates a structure. Okay. I don't know why it is an F. It's not just Unreal, like Unreal C++. It's everything. We use F to denote a structure. U indicates that's how Unreal uses its denotion for what that's called a reflection system. So when you build anything from an engine, from the engine, sorry, it builds with a reflection capture. So basically, it passes all the C++ code and captures all the bits that are denoted like U property, U class, things like that, so that the editor can see them and edit them and change them. That's why they use the U is for obviously for Unreal. But F is a common thing that we see for structures. Reverse with the question, how can we make a Pikmin style actor to actor attachment with animations and everything? Not a step-by-step, but more concept. Yeah, so I was looking at Pikmin because I was tempted to try and do like a Let's Create for Pikmin, but I haven't really played Pikmin since like Pikmin 1, and even that was a demo way back in the day. So I need to play it to really understand it fully. Yeah, so Pikmin, I mean, it could be just AI actors that are just following you around and can navigate the environment with you. That would make the most sense because you can give them commands to pick up items and drag them to places or attack things. So I imagine they're just AI actors. I could be wrong, but that's what they look like to me. It just can handle a lot of them, that's all. Next question. Rifat. Hi, Ryan. This is Riff. Big fan. I have a question. We often see one key combined with many different functionalities. Is it good practice to implement multiple functions to a specific key through a bool? Can you give me an example, Riff? What you mean? You often see one key combined with many different functionalities. Is it good practice to implement multiple functions to a specific key through bool? Can you give me an example of what you mean there, Riff? I think I know what you're talking about, which is context-sensitive buttons. But let me know what you intend there, just in case I'm misthinking it. Reality to games. Any idea how to set up a scoreboard? Like, for example, a platformer that scores you based on time it took to complete the level and how many deaths you had, number of collectibles, and etc. I guess so. Yeah, we could do something like that. So let's put something together that I can actually score. The pro, please don't spam it. We'll get to it. So we'll do point here. And we'll just add a simple sphere or something to it. And I'll just make this so I can overlap it. Overlap all. And when this is actor begin overlap here, other actor equal to. Actually, I'll do cast too because I put points in on my character. Just for speed's sakes. Do that. And then I'm going to go to my player character. Score. Float. Or I can do integer really. Like that. And functions here I can do add score. And just add a integer. Score. Add these two together. And then set that to score. Okay. And on the point here, I can just call add score. And we're going to add a score of 5. Okay. I then destroy the actor. Okay. To store the scoreboard, you need to have something to save the scoreboard to. So you need to set up a save game to handle that. And then you have to think about how you're going to store the scoreboard. So let's also make the save thing. So I'm going to go to my classes here. Save game. Scoreboard. Save game. I misspelled it, but never mind. And in variables here, we need to store the scoreboard. Now, I recommend you use an array because arrays can be ordered, reorganized, and set and messed about with, and it's easy to track the order of the score. So in here, we can do scoreboard. And the array here would be a struct, okay? And it has to be a struct because you need to know various information. You need to know who it is and what score they got. So we'll do a struct. F score. And you'll have like 2 variables in here. One is a text value for the name. And the other one would be the actual score they got. And so we have to do this because a normal array can only hold 1 type of variable. Here we've got 2. So we can't do it. It's just an array. We need to use an array of structs. And then in here, just do F score. And we'll make it an array. Okay. Yeah, that's it really. And then on the player character, when we want to say end the game, on the game mode or something, let's do a game mode. We can do on begin play. We can get that scoreboard, for example. So we can, does save game exist? Scores, we'll call it. Plug that in. Put that into a branch. Load game from slot. Scores. False. Create. Save game object. Scoreboard. Character variable. Scores. And we'll set scores. We have to cast this so first. First do score. Board save game. And put that in there. Okay, so either way, I've got a score value. So normal save loading procedure here. Then on my begin play here, I'm going to do a timer just so we can make a little game out of it. So do timer. set time by event, and we'll say 10 seconds. Okay, and on that 10 seconds, we're then going to say show score. And what we're going to do is just print string the player's current score. So get player character, get their score. Obviously, you use a widget for this properly. Oh, need a cast, sorry. Pass to third person. Score. Get score. And we'll do a print string here. Okay, so it will say, I'll change it to like red or something. And that's it, okay? So after 10 seconds, it will print how much score I've got. So to test it out, make sure that works. We'll just put in our points. Plant, point, there we go. Point, point, point. Just make a load of points. Something like that, okay? So if I've still got the clicking thing on it. So if I pick up a few points here and like pick up 3, so I should score 15. So I'll wait a few more seconds for that. Oh, there you go. It came up. So if you didn't see that, where is it? 15. There it is. Okay. So I printed 15. Now, what I want to do then is I need to save that score into my game. Okay, so if I go to my game mode, for example, and after I print string here, I want to take my scores, and I want to get the scoreboard, and if I want to add a new one to it, I just go add, and we'll break that open with a make. And you put in the player's name and their score they got. Okay, so that score would go into there. And likewise, keep going round like that. Obviously, we have to set up a whole thing to enter your name, but that's how that works. And then when you want to print the scoreboard, you need to order the scoreboard and sort it, and then put in the in a widget of some kind showing each thing. I don't think we have time to go through the sorting algorithms, but if you look up online, you'll find a load of sorting algorithms you can use for arrays. Because I don't think it has a built-in, no, it doesn't. Sorting, and particularly probably looking at bubble sorting. So look at bubble sorting to help you do that. Put that all together, and you can organize it into a list. Yeah, and that's kind of it, really. And don't forget to save, obviously, and load. But hopefully that gets you a good start and you can carry on with the rest of it. As I say, it probably needs a fuller series of videos to go through the whole process of getting the UI on the screen. Yeah. The pro was asking how to use different weapon holding animations. Recently, I've learned of a new tool that, not to say it's not new, but a new thing in here that will, for me at least, that makes this a lot easier. And I recommend checking it out. I won't go through it again because I went through it again. I went through it last week already, or I went through it on a very recent stream, and it's called animation link layers. So if you just Google animation link layers into documentation, you'll find it, a good page about it and talk about what they do, and that's typically the best way of handling weapon animations. I'd recommend doing that. Next question. Reverse, by the way, fun tidbit, the newest Pikmin is made in Unreal Engine. First one by Nintendo, I think. Oh, that's interesting. It's not the first one, though. I think the first game they used Unreal for was Yoshi. On the Switch. That was in Unreal Engine. But yeah, that's interesting that Pikmin's using Unreal. Oh, the carrying around thing, like regarding Pikmin, how do you attach Pikmin to object carry? Interesting problem. I don't exactly know. I need to play it to really be able to see it for myself and like ascertain how it's being put together. Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll look into it. If I try it out, I'll try and do a video on it. Rifat, is it a good decision to build a full game only in blueprints? Up to you. Can do if you want. No harm in doing it. Gaming man, right. So if I have permission to make my master tree to so well, yeah, it's your stuff in it, but it's the end result is different from the stuff. Yeah, you can use it. Yeah. Is the in future new ability system multiplayer? Can you make a tutorial for it? Yes. So a new ability system series is coming out. I'd like to do a few things differently and implement a few new additions and make it a bit more streamlined. And I've got some really cool new solutions since I made that like 4 years ago, whenever it was. And we'll make it multiplayer suitable. So yeah. Do you play games, Ryan? Yes, I do. I recently finished Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm now currently playing through Diablo 4. I've leveled a sorcerer so far to level 49, I think. I finished the campaign. I'm at level 49. Not a big. I don't know if I like the sorcerer or not. I want to try leveling a rogue, but I think I might wait until the season starts and then do it with that. But yeah, I'm currently playing Diablo. John D'Souza, how long have you been a game developer? Depends what you mean. I mean, I've been making my own games since I went to university, so what's that? 15 years ago? Alright. How old am I now? Yeah, about 15 years ago. So, been making my own stuff since then. I've been using Unreal Engine for the past 7 years, basically. Nope, not the table. So, yeah. Nerd Goof. Is it possible to limit the vision cone within the custom shape? Show it how to get more control an NPC can see. Sort of inside the coffin shape, NPC can see what's inside the coffin. So you're trying to simulate peripheral vision. Okay, I'll show you how to simulate peripheral vision. That's easy enough to do. So on my NPC here, if I just give them a mesh quickly. Okay, and if I add, if I quickly add the peripheral vision to it. So on the perception system, when you add sight to it, okay, I'll just turn on the detection by affiliation. And I'll just turn the sight radius down a bit so you can see it a bit better. 1500 by 1500. And half angle will do 60. Okay, so if I put him in a scene, right here. Okay, and if I turn on the debug for this, okay, so there's this vision cone currently. Yeah, it's the normal cone shape. Okay, so obviously it doesn't support peripheral vision currently, but you can see me inside the cone. What you can do to simulate peripheral vision is if you go to the sensors config for the site, you'll see two settings here. We've got point of view backwards offset and near clipping radius. These two things combined can do a good peripheral vision system. So just change point of view backwards offset to, wait, I'll show you what they do individually. So point of view backward offset, if I change it to 200, and leave that one alone for a second, you'll see what this does.
So now you can see the cone has started behind them. Okay, so it's back. It's been offset by 200 backwards. If I change that back down to 0 and go to near clipping radius and change it to 200, what you see is basically it's saying cut off the first 200 of that cone. Yeah. So combine them together. So I put 200, 200 in each one. Obviously, you can use whatever values you like. And what you'll get is this peripheral vision shape. So if I stand here, you can see me. Obviously, the bigger the number, the wider the peripheral vision is. So I can see me back here. But I find 200 works quite well. That'd be the way to do it. As for custom shapes, no, there is no way of doing a custom shape. But this is as good as you can get. Alternatively, you can do it without using the senses system, but you can. It's going to be more work for you to do that. Yeah. So peripheral vision, done like that. Mohammed Gebo, can I use one behavior tree for all enemies, or do I need a tree for each one? You can use one if you want. I say each enemy gets an instance of the behavior tree. So yeah. Question from Chris. I'm so glad I didn't miss it this time. I have a question about lights. How do I block a light from going through a mesh like a wall or box or container and so on? What? It should just block it. I mean, it's just put shape. And what's the issue you're having it with it, Chris? If I make that big, light is getting blocked going from here. Yeah. Hence the shadow. So what issue are you having here, Chris? Talk about light leaking. Oh, right. Do you mean like... I mean, we're currently using Lumen, so Lumen's a bit better for this. Hang on, let me do the scaling properly here. Because in Lumen you don't really get much light leaking anymore. That's the thing you're seeing, like this. Obviously, if you have a little bit of gap, it's going to leak through. You get shadows from that. Yeah, let me know what you mean, Chris. Like, what you want this bit to be. If you want the people, oh yeah, if random's saying like is what you want. If you want this bit in that's in shadow, it could be completely black. The reason why you can see it is because of the skylight. Okay, it gets darker. The skylight lights it up. Reverse another point drink question. What are you drinking tonight? Tonight I'm drinking Sprite Zero. Trying to have less caffeine and sugars, but it's not working too great. But at least trying to cut down a bit on the sugars in my drinks. Yeah. Chris, I have a searchlight, but when my character is behind like a shipping container, the light still lights up my character. It shouldn't do. If you're using are you using a spotlight? Thing. Because it shouldn't do. Like, let's say it's my container. See, the light's not going through to the other side. I don't know why you think why it's lighting up. Like, you won't see it go through. The only way it can go through is if you physically move the light on the other side of the thing. Maybe make it brighter because of the daylight. Oh yeah, there's a couple of things you may have done. So it's a rather large shipping. Okay, just first of all, make sure that the object you've got is you've ticked cast shadows on it to be true. Make sure that's on. It should be on by default. So just double check that it's still on. If you don't have that on, you get no shadows, and light can go through. Secondly, make sure that you've actually got like actual geometry on the side of the light. If it's just one-sided geometry, it'll pass right through. So for example, if I had a plane like this, notice how it doesn't cast a shadow. That's because it's one-sided, so the light will feed through this side and go right through. However, if you turn it around, it will block the light because it's actual geometry blocking it. So make sure that that's the case. But I say, I don't think yours would be. Check that out. It's a blueprint searchlight that's moving. It blocks, but my character's still getting lit. It's a blueprint searchlight that's moving. It blocks, but my character's still getting lit. I'm confused as to what's going on there. That, as John says, that's weird. Oh, yeah, but Boy is saying, oh wait, no. It's still, the shadows will still cast. He's using Lumen. Oh, even more confusing. I ain't got a clue, Chris. I don't know. I think it's something I need to see, really. Don't know. I can't think right now what it could be. Problem, Chris. If you're on our Discord, post it into the bug fixing channel, and we'll take a look there, I guess, with some screenshots or video. Video probably better of it. Yeah. Slice of Parker. Hello. What's the best place for save game data if the game is single multiplayer, such as how Borderlands works, where you progress together and it saves all players' progress, stats, currency, etc. You save it in your own game instance. Game instance is the best place to do it because it's persistent and it's always there. So use it. As for like multiplayer, each player is saving their own stats to their own system. It's all local to them. So yeah, it's just all a game instance. Couple more questions before we go. Reverse, can we somehow achieve a grid-based movement like roguelike without implementing A star? Ever tried this? Yes, you can do it without implementing A star pathfinding. You can use the normal pathfinding, but it's not straightforward. You basically are using the normal nav system that you have to work out the route it needs to take, and then you are adjusting that route based upon, like, rounding up and down based upon the grid sizing you got. I will need to do a video tutorial about that. It's not straightforward. I wish it was, because it'd be so much cooler, but no, it's not straightforward at all. But if you want to see a good example of it being done, you can go, if you go to Epic's launcher, go to samples, and this is a great place, by the way, to go, not just for Lyra. There's loads of stuff in here. If you scroll down for grid-based stuff, you'll see this one, this turn-based strategy game. There's examples of how not turn-based, grid-based movement works in that game. So get hold of that. It's good. Check out this stuff, by the way. There's loads of cool stuff in here you can check out. You can learn about how things were done. Yeah. Check it out, though. Bartus, any tips on making a sword and bow? I want both of them to use the left mouse click, but bow have info about how long the left mouse button was pressed. They are separate U objects, so input doesn't work here. Yeah, you what do you mean the input doesn't work here? You're just using the inputs here. So let's say I make an input for attack, for example. And let's say that'd be like with a sword, for example. But let's say I want to make another one for a bow. Where we go? A bow, for example. Actually, no, we'll just do it on IA attack. Be fine. IA attack like that, and that'll be yeah, a ball. Okay. And on the context, yeah, you add the mapping, IA attack, and do left mouse button like that. You'll need to register a couple of things. First of all, the modifier you need to add to it will be not modifier, sorry, the trigger would be hold and released. Okay, like that. And then on your character, I mean, it's a couple of ways you can do it, but when you get the enhanced input action here, you can actually have multiple of these, like that. Okay, so one could be for bow, one could be for sword. You just do a little check to make sure what one you got equipped is active. And you want to get how long you held it down for. Click on the down arrow here, and you get elapsed seconds or triggered seconds. So how long you've held it down when you complete it. That'd be for bow. And this one could be done for sword. You just tell it which one to do. Because if you don't put a thing in it, like a conditioner check, it will do both. Okay, so if I go like that. Oh, I've got to turn the player controller to stop doing that. Hold on. There you go. Oh, no, why is that not working? Did I not set up the triggered? Oh, it's on hold and release, isn't it? I need to add in crap, hold on. When you do hold and release, there's a hold time threshold, an actuation threshold, actuation threshold,
Basically means I have to hold it for at least half a second in order for it to register. You can turn it down, obviously. Actuation here, I could do like 0. And it should do it. Why is that not doing it? Go back to that one. Should work. Why is it not working? Yeah. Not working. It should do it. I mean, it may be sort out the controller. Tell the controller not to do that stuff again. Play controller. Oh, yeah, why is it not doing it? Let me get rid of that one. Triggered. Hello, yeah. Why is it not doing it? Yeah, definitely not doing it. I definitely set up the input left mouse button. Let me change it to the E key. See if that does anything. How peculiar. Maybe the actuation can't be 0. 0, 1. No. Alright, now I'm confused. Triggers, hold and release. Hold time threshold. Alright. Let me put it back to 0.5 in case it does get weird about that. Yeah. What? Let me put on started, see if it's at least starting. No. Well, I'm officially confused. Why the hell is this not working? Let me take off the hold and release. Is that really causing an issue? Did I break this? No. Oh, it's doing it down here. Okay, hang on. Hang on. No, crap. Ah. Ooh. Screen messages. Oh, no. Enable all screen messages. Right, that's me starting it. Oh, it's over here. It should go on triggered as well. Yeah. But there you go. I don't know what the hell was going on. There you go. It's working. It does both. So you can just like filter it out by like a boolean saying like what one you got equipped, etc. But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna have to do for today. Thank you so much everyone coming by on today's question time. We do this every Wednesday, so if you want to get your questions answered next time, just come by on Wednesday for our live stream. We are live also on Saturday. This Saturday we are doing a live stream all about how to get good at Unreal Engine. So we're talking about tips and tricks of how to get started with Unreal Engine and how to actually get to the point where you don't actually need to watch any of my content anymore. And you can just do it because you just like seeing me and like saying hello. But we'll be going through that live stream on Saturday, so do check it out and come by on Saturday, same time as always. Thank you so much for everyone who's supporting the channel over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley. If you want to support the channel, head over there. Just $1 a month gets you access to all of my content early before everyone else. So thank you so much to everyone over there who is donating already. Don't forget, we also got the summertime game jam coming up very soon. So head over to Itch and check out the link somewhere I've got in my social medias, or I'll post it again soon, to sign up to the summer game jam. There is a cash prize for the winner, so do check it out and sign up. It's going to be lots of fun, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what people get with that. And we also have some limited edition merchandise for the game jam. All proceeds from the sales go towards the prize fund, so the more you buy, the bigger the prize fund gets, and you get some cool swag to go with it. And it will be only available during the game jam. So thank you so much, everyone who already has bought one and is supporting the channel, and supporting the jam. And have a good night. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.